Friggin' what up, dude? Strider Wilson, and I'm the host of this podcast that's mine, going to be called History is Dank. History is Dank with Strider Wilson. Dankness from the ground.
Friggin' what up, dude? Welcome back to another dank ep of History is Dank. Dude, this one's going to be extra fucking dank, dude. We got Aaron on the sticks. Dude, what up, Aaron, dude?
What up?
Just posted up, dude. And I'm fired up today, dude, because we got fucking JD Lapinsky in the house, dude. And you might know this name if you ever check the research performed by or executed by of History is Dank. JD has researched many episodes for the show, and he is also a legit educator. You have a master's in, JD, tell me about your degree. You went to San Jose State.
Yeah, so just graduated from a master's degree in May, actually. So
congrats.
Got that done. But yeah, I have a BA in history.
Hell yeah.
BA in social science for teacher prep. And then I got my master's degree in education. My, I guess, emphasis was in trauma-informed education. So I guess I could tell you a little bit about my master's degree. But
first, hold on. I want to get into that, JD, but we got something extra special that we got to do real quick to kick this off right. You know what I'm saying, dude?
Absolutely.
Because you cruised in with your bro today, Gus, dude, who's an absolute chiller, dude.
The day one.
Yes, and then maybe Gus, here, give Gus the mic a little bit too, because I want to hear about it a little bit. Yeah. Gus, before we started in here, we're chilling, and Gus is chilling on the couch over here, and we just started talking, and Gus has a nickname, Tank.
Yeah, the Tank.
Yeah, why are you the Tank, Gus?
Look at him.
Well, bro.
I'm built like a tank.
Hell yeah, like a legend.
The tank to drink all the liquids and eat all the foods.
Fucking let's go, dude. So today, Gus goes, dude, I'm excellent at shotgunning. And, you know, nothing's going to get us fired up for a podcast like shotgunning. So, but I have to apologize because I don't have the best options, dude. You have three options. Your pick of what you'd like to shotgun. We've got and this is not an advertisement right now, though it could be. We got a Liquid Death mango chainsaw. Sounds pretty shotgunnable, but that's just a flavored water. But it's a tall boy, so that will be a lot of liquid. Then you've got a regular Coca-Cola, original taste, have some fun. Or you have a Moon Haze IPA. One of the least appealing beers to ever shotgun might be an IPA. But this is what we had today in the studio. All I have is my iced tea from Chipotle, but it's not shotgunnable. It's in a recyclable drinking vessel. So, Gus, what are you feeling?
I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the IPA.
Let's go, bro. Okay, here we go. Handing you the IPA.
Move. Going straight for the IPA.
Beast. So, you know, just so we know, Gus is now gonna. He's good at the air bubble. We got a lot of electronics around here, but you got that air bubble down pat.
Be a professional, Gus.
Bro, that was executed amazingly well, dude. Nothing went anywhere. So, Gus, thank you so much for kicking off this episode. Do you want to count it down or want me to count it down, or you just like to rip?
I count it down. I just want to say one thing, though.
Oh, yeah, get in the mic. Say one thing,
I just want to say one thing. History is dank.
Oh, what a legend, dude. Let's go, bro. All right, 1, 2, 3, hit it.
That a baby.
Already done. Dude, lives up to the name. Let's go, Gus, dude. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Hey, and by the way, if you need to pee halfway through recording, just go right on through. Don't worry about it, because you just housed that.
Let me know when you want something else, shotgun.
Dude, that's probably one of the best kickoffs to an episode we've ever had, dude. Gus, thank you, bro. That's what I'm saying, dude. That's the beauty, dude. JD's visiting from San Jose, where you got your degree. Gus lives in SoCal. He goes, dude, you don't have wheels right now. This is your bro giving you a ride.
Yeah, man, flew in and, go to the day one homie.
And look at, dude, you're just spreading the love, dude. Getting people stoked, getting them fired up with a nice shotgun.
Boys supporting boys.
It's just a beautiful thing, dude. Okay, so, Gus, thank you so much, dude. You're an absolute beast, bro. That's Legend of the Week material right there.
I got to give a massive shout out to Dadgrass, dude. Dadgrass is legal, organic hemp that relaxes your body and mellows your dome, dude. Dadgrass offers smokable pre-rolled joints and CBD tinctures for those smooth summer days. I'm all about the pre-rolled joints, dude. Dadgrass is the best, dude. It's not gnarly weed, dude. It just is that mellow, nice bit of CBD to put you in that good mood to have that summertime when the living's easy, bro. So right now, dude, Dadgrass is offering listeners 20% off your first order at dadgrass.com/dank. Go to dadgrass.com/dank for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/dank. Dank.
JD, so sorry to interrupt with
No,
that beautiful
you're good,
moment.
You're good. That was much needed.
Thank you. And I think the ancient Greeks that we'll be talking about today would enjoy what we just did.
Absolutely.
It was a thing of beauty. So you are currently teaching right now, history level.
Yeah, I
history.
just finished up summer school world history. I was teaching. It was like 10th graders, but they're like going into 11th. They like.
Okay.
So yeah, had to retake it. Yeah, like so. First period was like 3 hours. They're both 3 hours, and first semester, second semester, just all in one day. So covering a lot of content. What we're actually going to be talking about today is it's a lesson that I taught. So
that's what I love.
cool.
Today's episode is sort of going to be a real-time experience of if you're posted up. If I'm in 10th grade, wasn't paying attention during the regular year, texting my boys and vaping guava ice during class, and then now I'm getting punished by being put in summer school, but then I get a reward because JD's my chill-ass teacher. That's sort of the experience that we're going through right now. So, I'll probably ask questions, and you said you picked sort of a conversational lesson, which is nice. Also, somewhat Socratic, if I say so myself.
Definitely.
Even though we're not gonna be touching too much on Socrates today, right?
I believe the second passage it's Plato, but it was like Socrates' conversation. So,
beautiful.
So he's in the mix a little bit, but
is it? Let me ask you this question. This is something I've been meaning to get off my chest. Is this a tomato type thing? Is it Socrates or is it Socrates or Socrates? And who gets slapped when they say what?
I'm a big Socrates guy. Just
you really
Bill
Socrates?
and Ted, but like
Yeah,
I have
right.
to. I can't be saying that in class.
Correct.
Like I have to like set the example. So I usually go with Socrates.
Yes.
But no, I love when somebody says Socrates in class, you're gonna get a giggle out of me.
Yeah, I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that. Okay, sick. So, you are truly an expert in what we're about to talk about. You have higher education on this, and you disseminate your knowledge to others. So that's sick. So I appreciate you doing that today on the pod. So fired up, and thank you for being here. And I guess at this point, let's. I guess class is in session, dude. Like, I just cruised in from recess. I probably just housed some Pop-Tarts out of the vending machine. I've got a fat sugar high, dude. Probably just, went into the bathroom, drilled myself because no one's around to like one of the buildings that are way off campus like I used to do in high school. And so now I'm ready to rock. So what's going on?
All right. So, just to get started.
Yeah.
Typically in class, it takes a minute. Like, takes about like solid like 10 minutes. Just these kids on their phone. So,
Right.
Phones away, lock in, be ready to go, pen and pencil out.
Let's go.
But once everything's settled, I would, start this class with just a quick question, and give the students a little bit of time to think about it. But what should the duties of a citizen in a democracy be? So whenever I say that, I mean, if I have to expand upon everything as a teacher,
Mhm.
but, as a citizen, or what we think to be citizens, we may not have a definition for it, but if you are a citizen living in a democracy, what is expected of you? Like, what is required of you if you're going to be an active participant in this democracy?
If I was a kid right now, this is just what I'm thinking. Maybe I won't even play the role of a kid. I'll just be myself. I'd be like, okay, you got to have a job, and I know we've got jury duty right now, so I know we got that. And so I'd be like, yes, probably to have a job and be chill and follow the laws.
Definitely.
So that would be my quick answer right now before the lesson.
Yeah, have a job, contribute to society.
Yeah.
Right? Like, those are all, I think everybody would agree with that, right? Like,
Yeah.
Active participation in society, whether you have a job, whether you're voting, whether you're, just involved, you're educated,
Mhm.
right? You know what's going on,
Mhm.
right? So I would say, that's like a basic tenet of a citizen in a democracy.
Yes.
But just to kind of expand that, like, what makes, or how about I should ask, like, what are the duties of the people living in a society, and how is it different from a democracy? Right. So
Whoa.
keep in mind, right? Like, so that might get a little tricky, right?
Yeah, that is tricky.
Citizens in a democracy rather than people in a society, right? Like, at what point does a democracy, stop becoming a democracy? Whenever it's already established.
Okay, so maybe
When does a society kind of transform into a democracy?
maybe if I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I almost went backwards. I was like, okay, you have hunter-gatherers. That's not really a democracy, maybe. That's just like, although I guess they maybe voted on stuff of where to cruise to, or like where to gather and hunt, but it's not really democratic in my mind. And then I would say, if you have an established democracy where it could change from that, is, and look, I also looked over the lesson, so I did a little bit of cheating. I was a good student, and I would say that, maybe when you have these professional politicians, maybe when you have a very, and oftentimes it seems negative, if you have like someone who usurps power, a coup, or somebody who becomes like a dictator type rule, like, and they could rise up. My example would be maybe Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
There was probably bullying and
you go from the Weimar Republic and then this kind of like it's a little bit of a tricky, like Hitler's rise of power is tricky because people like to say, just summarize it quickly, like, oh, he won power through election, but that's not necessarily true. He was like appointed and somebody lost power, somebody died actually, right? So like it's tricky, right?
It's very tricky. And the appeasement by Neville Chamberlain, whoever it was.
Yeah.
Like there was other Germans being like, yo, we'll take Hitler down. Like we don't want him in. But Chamberlain was such a bitch, dude.
Yeah,
Pardon my French.
He got played.
That led to that. So I would say that would be my one answer that I have is somebody who can rise up through the political system, use this idea of the group mindset, maybe a mob mentality, and could use democracy for bad. It can be for good and for bad, I guess.
That's like honestly, if we're like in a class right now, that's like a super nuanced answer. That's great.
Thank you,
I would love to hear that from some students.
I would look at, if I was in class, I would look at the other cute girl that's in class, that has problems at home.
You just throw up a shotgun,
I'd look over at her and be like, just fucking see what I did there, dude. Want to cruise to the beach after this? Mr. Lapinsky lets us out fucking early, dude. 5
minutes if we're good.
Legit, dude. All
yeah,
right.
But no, so like just to go back to that question, right? So what are the duties of people living in a society, and how's this different from citizens in a democracy?
Yes.
Right. So
also, real quick, in that analogy, that was me at high school age, not me at my current age in my 30s.
Of course.
High school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a weird guy, but I'm not that weird of a guy. So okay, JD, sorry, just had to clarify that for the listeners out there.
Yeah, but so just going back to that question, I wrote a few things down, just a couple ideas, but like I think you could cut this both ways. Like there's some good and there's some bad, right? So I would say the good thing, like what is expected of people in a society, just do the right thing, have some integrity, right? Like even when no one's watching, just do the right thing, right?
Not trash the place.
Absolutely,
Very
right?
basic.
Like so, like
leave it better than you left it if you can, and at least how you found it.
Yeah, 100%, right? And then
museum rules.
Just be courteous to not just to your neighbors, but everybody, right? Just be a solid dude, or not necessarily a dude, but be a solid person.
Solid person today, right. But in Greek times, definitely dude, because ladies, slaves, kids, all that didn't get to vote.
Yeah.
But if you were a dude, a male age, then you were a citizen.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna get there, right?
Let's go,
but just real quick before we do, just the bad, right? And like the difference between like the good and the bad. And the bad is like there's a lack of law and order, going back to what you said in the beginning, right? Like this idea of kind of safety is gone, right? So it's kind of people living in a society versus citizens in a democracy. I think the difference would probably be is that citizens have a responsibility to the greater good of society, whereas people in a society, they're just in a society, right? So I think with those two ideas established, let's get into some democracy.
I love that. Let's go.
So Ancient Athens, let's roll back the clock.
Yes.
And I love that you brought up voting, right? So usually when you think of democracy, right, you think of voting.
100%. That seems like how you define it is like, I'm like, honestly, the only, like, I would say today, I think about it's like, well, in November, presidential election, like people probably just mow past the small elections or whatever, although we should pay more attention. But it seems like, and even then only like maybe not even half the society shows up to the polls, right?
Yeah, it's usually super low numbers. It's pretty unfortunate. But
I would say in today's society, people probably express their, interact with the democracy or provide their civic duty just on Twitter or social media.
Yeah, they voice opinions, but that's not necessarily...
It's not really active. It's not...
Yeah.
That's just talking.
Absolutely, right? But so if we're going back to ancient Athens, right, this idea of elections and voting, that wasn't necessarily a part of their democracy predominantly.
Really?
Right? So many people like to believe that, elections dictate a democracy. Like whenever, I don't know, even whenever you're like in class, like you're voting on what movie we're going to watch. That's how democracy works. Like I've even caught myself saying that sometimes too, right?
Even with my hunter-gatherer thing, I was like, they probably vote on shit.
Yeah,
like,
right? So like in that, I can think that's just like human nature. Is voting is just like a human innate. It's just a trait, right? Like, but in the in then ancient Athens, this is the only pure democracy, right? So 5th century, they Pericles, which we're gonna get into in just a minute here.
Yeah, he's a beast.
But it's referred to as the golden age of democracy, right? And for pretty much all of the positions, it was all a lottery system, right? So all lawmakers that are put into office, it's like a random lottery versus like from citizen volunteers. So you had to be a citizen.
Jury duty style.
Yeah, jury duty style. But the thing is, like their council was about 6,000 people,
Whoa.
right? And anybody could just show up to let's look back to our research real quick. It's the ecclesia. So several times a month, they're going to hold like a general assembly meeting just to discuss. Here, I'll highlight it on our doc right here.
Legend, dude.
But
we've got a shared doc. You know how legit that is when two bros got a shared doc of knowledge, dude? So sick.
It's powerful.
It is very powerful.
It's powerful.
Yeah, it's very
yeah.
powerful.
So anyways, getting back to our democracy, we're 5th century BC. As I stated, pure democracy. It's not necessarily elections. So their general assembly, they would have 6,000 people show up several times, a month.
It's too much.
Yeah, it's a lot, right? You have to be active participant, right? You got to be engaged. So at these general assembly meetings, they're solving various disputes, maybe criminal disputes, maybe kind of like law or financial disputes, other initiatives for the community.
Do we
right?
build this? Do we want a temple of Apollo? Do we want a temple of fucking Dionysus or whatever?
Exactly.
Okay, what are we going to put the funds towards?
This dude stole my goat.
Yeah, dude, this guy, this sack of wine jacked my goat.
A sack of wine.
I want his kids now. His kids will be mine. All right? You can't have all of his kids. You can't have all of Craig's kids, but you can have a few of them.
Give him a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so that type of stuff is going down at the ecclesia, right? And forgive me, I'm not an expert in ancient Athens. I may be having some mispronunciations here.
Oh, baby, it's all Greek to me, baby. You get close. You're in the ballpark. It's a home run. That's the type of logic I use here.
Nice. So on top of, let's think about it like pillars, right? You have the people that are serving the ecclesia. There's about 6,000. They got like a bunch of pillars right here.
Right,
And
like
my
one of their
hand
temples.
signals may not be making sense on YouTube, but just imagine this is like the foundation, right? That's 6,000.
Like those columns, like an Ionic, Corinthian, or Doric column.
Let's make that analogy in our minds right now.
Yes.
Right. So you got that base, right? The ecclesia, 6,000 serving, all these disputes. Then on top of that, you got a 500-member governing council called the Boule. Right. And they're the people who set the agenda for all of these meetings, right? So all the people at the ecclesia, right? The 6,000, they're citizen volunteers. Well, they're all citizen volunteers, right? Except for, we'll get to it, the very top of the...
Boule are mainly aristocrats or something.
Boule, they're still lottery, they're elected, right? But, it's kind of tough to say if they're aristocratic or not, because these aristocratic positions in government, they're really only reserved for like magistrates, actually not even magistrates, jurors settled legal matters.
Okay.
But like generals in the military,
right. like skilled
positions.
Yes.
Those were elected.
That's the true aristocratic is.
Yeah.
Truly, an aristocrat means like being good at something, right? Like done by the best.
Yeah.
So like a general, you would need to have good strategy stuff. And then like I don't know, whatever the position, like maybe an architect or something. Like not any guy can just be an architect or a general.
Definitely, 100%. Yeah.
Although a lot of dudes think they can when they vape a lot and then do blow at bachelor parties.
Hey,
dude.
when I get mad, bro. You don't even know. You don't even know.
Dude, when I get mad, dude, I can do it. That's hilarious.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, we got the ecclesia, we got the Boule who set the agenda for the meeting. So they decide whose goat is getting disputed today.
Legit.
Right.
Exactly, dude.
And then on top of that, we have our jurors and our magistrates, and they settle the legal disputes. Right. And then this is where we get to the elections. Right. So all of those positions are lottery-based systems. Right.
So any citizen. Age.
But let's put an asterisk right there, right? Like we're saying any citizens, like it's everybody, right? But it's about 10 to 20% of the entire, Athenian population.
Really?
That are able to be citizens.
Who's eliminated?
Women, slaves. Actually have it written right here. Let's look at it real quick. Oh, so so rule by the many, right? And then they call this...
That's democracy, rule by the many.
Rule by the many. This is actually hobolomonis. And again, this is a Greek term, but it stands for rule by the many, right?
Okay.
And it excluded women, slaves, foreigners. They were all denied citizenship. So the pool of eligible Athenians was only about 10 to 20% of the population.
Okay.
Right? So it was open to everybody, right? Regardless of, financial background,
Right, so it's not
who your family
class-based,
is. It's not
really.
class-based. It's very open, very wide open, but at the same time, it's only 10 to 20%. So it's
Yeah.
kind of conflicting ideas there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Were there people there who were like unwilling unwilling participants, like jury duty, like fuck, I'm on the city council this week.
That's how I would feel about it. Yeah.
I'm sure there had to be,
Yeah,
there
right.
had to be,
There
right?
had to
But I think, the way historians represent this, it's like they felt honored to be participating in this government, right? Because if we think back, right, Athens, where this democracy came from, it was all it was like a society that was ruled by nobles, and there was always disputes between nobles because everybody's trying to mess each other's game up, right?
Yeah.
So
Kind of like Europe a little bit, like that.
so democracy rose from that era of nobles kind of dictating all these things, all of this chaos, right? And whenever the lawmaking ability was expanded to everybody, they took notice of that, and they didn't want to just allow the nobles to continue to rule how they have been
in their own
right?
interests.
So, of course, there may have been a few guys like, I got jury duty.
For sure. I'd
But-
rather just post up and eat olives with my boy today.
Yeah, eat a
dude.
couple grapes, get a nice,
Just get
tan.
bronzed, catch some shells, dude, and just get
Living a good life.
Yeah, dude, the Greek life is pretty friggin' sick if you think about it. That Mediterranean tan, dude, just walking around hanging dong, boning a lot, so sick. And then you got to
Baths,
imagine,
saunas.
but yeah, saunas, dude. But you got to imagine that it's probably good that there was dudes that don't want to be there a little bit. 'Cause I think that's kind of healthy. Like otherwise, you just get old dudes who corner you at the grocery store, and they're like, "Hey, young man, did you hear about? See what the president did today?" And you're like, "Dude, I'm just trying to get some fucking, just trying to get some freaking drumsticks and post out." Bone out of here, dude, and some claws. So just leave me
Sounds like
alone.
a solid afternoon.
Yeah, dude. I can't wait to be an old guy in Velcro shoes and just corner young people in the grocery store and just tell them my opinions, dude.
Some jean shorts, some Don Joy knee braces, like the
dude, yeah.
left tackle knee braces.
Because they'll try to juke me out. And
Stone cold
even though I'm
look.
old, I still have to move laterally to corner them.
I coach football. Right? I haven't mentioned it, but I
Oh,
coach football, right?
yes.
You gotta be quick on your feet when we're talking about. I coach corners, inch
You
footwork.
coach
just-
corners, bro.
Yeah.
That is, I think cornerback is the most difficult
It
position in
is.
sports. You are giving up the most size, and you also have to have the best hips and just straight up athletic ability.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's all about footwork. It's all about your hips and
Yep.
getting open and running.
100%. And also, you have to be intellectual. You have to be able to read.
Yeah, my defense, we run a 4-2-5 pack, which is
Now
like
we're
TCU's defense. If you ever watch TCU,
Yeah.
they run a 4-2-5
Or the
and
Horn Frogs. Or the Bullfrogs?
Horn Frogs.
Horn Frogs, yeah.
But yeah, anyways,
No, I
quick on
love
your
that.
feet, man. Quick on your feet.
Amen. And I love that digression. That's what we're all about here. Anytime we get into sports, dude, talking friggin' ancient Greece is honestly, it's getting me in the mood for Gus to shotgun something else. But Gus, no. But here's the thing. Gus is excited, but no, I can't have you shotgunning any of these things. None of these things are delicious, dude. No. All right, maybe a little bit. Actually, are you fired up to do it right now? All right,
Hey, Gus
fine.
fires at will.
Gus wants to
Fires
do it.
at will.
Naturally flavored sparkling water. So heads up, that's sparkling, bro. Are you sure you want to take down this sparkling water?
I like spicy things.
Okay. It's called Mango Chainsaw.
Get
Gus,
you a mic.
yeah. Let's get Gus a mic while he does this. Yeah, can we hear that noise as you puncture it? That's a beautiful noise.
It's a harder can.
That's okay. Take your time.
I don't want to.
Yeah, be skillful with it.
You're good. Oh, dude. Cream check. That was fucking rad, dude. All right, Gus, you're the man. Okay, before you shotgun, you have the mic. You can say anything you want. Not gonna make you have you shotgun here and not be able to share your opinions and your thoughts. Anything? Yeah, please.
Education is important.
Dude, let's fucking go, dude. Let's go, dude. I miss so nice.
School taught me this.
That's right.
Hey, he's San Bernardino graduate.
Let's go.
Cal State San Bernardino boys.
Hell yeah, let's go, dude.
Go Yotes.
Yotes. All right, dude, here you go. Hit it, baby. 1, 2, 3.
Ooh.
What a legend, dude. Gus.
So clean.
You took it down, dude. You the man. Yeah, please, let it out. There you go. I mean, baby, that's a sign of, that's what I'm saying. It's a sparkling water, and that's, I don't know how many ounces that is. Maybe 24?
16.
16.9.
Okay, so not really not quite a full tall boy, but
Still doing some damage.
for sure. Also, kids.
Half a liter.
Yeah, that's a half liter. And kids at home, you don't have to have an alcoholic beverage to shotgun. Gus, do you need to get by?
sparkling
You
water,
can. Okay.
right?
I'll leave my key there.
Oh, you're the man. Yeah, dude, you ain't driving home after shotgunning that water. And we're recording for an hour. We're going to let you process that hazy.
Ooh.
That was beautiful, dude. That was so sick, dude. Just the Stokes through the roof. All right, bro. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so let's jump right into Pericles.
Let's go.
So, 4 reasons why Pericles is a super chill leader, right? And I actually have a slide. They thought it was hilarious that I said chill.
That's awesome, dude.
So 4 reasons, right? 1, he opened up civil service positions, which translation, decent paying jobs.
Right.
To all citizens, right? But again, let's remember 10 to 20% of society, right?
All citizens as defined by Athens, which we,
Yeah, as we know, right? But this is a great idea, right?
Yeah.
So open up all these positions to everybody, but not everybody, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
So regardless of class, right? So this included enslaved people, actually.
Wow.
Right? So all, not women, not children, but some slaves were able to get these civil
male
service.
slaves.
Male slaves, yes, right? 2, right? He afforded equal justice to their private differences, right? So what does that mean? Everybody got equal justice, due process of the law.
Wow.
Right?
Fucking habeas corpus, dude.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Right? 3, he arranged pay for people serving jury duties. So people wanted to serve on jury duties because they're getting paid for it.
Whoa. Dude in the grocery store stoked on that.
Absolutely.
They can
right?
take his Birkenstocks into there and just go.
Yeah,
dude.
and there's incentive there, right?
Yes.
So active participation is being rewarded, right? And then number 4, which I think is within ancient Athens, and considering how all of these neighboring city-states were operating as a society, I think this one is like kind of the most free thinking, right? So, or I shouldn't say free thinking, but radical, at least for this time period.
Yes.
He championed freedom of political opinion and action, right? So this is why, and again, I always say Diogenes. This may be an incorrect pronunciation, but you have people like that expressing their opinions, kind of pooping in the streets, like
Diogenes. He'd go around jacking off or whatever. I mean, I'm probably saying that wrong too, but that's how I've heard it.
Yeah,
but he loved to pull it out and just hang dong. That's too much, dude. Get yourself a drill factory. You know what I mean? Go to that isolated building.
Yeah, but when we're
take care of what you got to take care of.
And when we're talking about freedom, which we're going to get into, freedom could be, a real threat to democracy.
Yeah, he's going to an extreme, saying, "Am I not free to do this?" But it's like, bro, you got to think about externalities here.
Absolutely, 100%. So
I like that teaser. Very nice.
We kind of set the stage for Pericles, right?
Yes.
Let's go into his funeral speech. So I just gave you that book, the Peloponnesian War by Thucydides.
Thank you, dude. I'm so fired up to read that. That's gonna be. It might take me a year. That puppy's dense, dude.
Dude, skip around.
Yeah, I'm gonna a book like that, a historical book. You can go to chapters and stuff.
Yeah, don't just do a dry read.
Yeah.
So, anyways, for those of you wondering where we're coming from, this is just an excerpt from the funeral speech for the Athenian war dead right after the Peloponnesian War.
Mainly between Athens and Sparta.
So, and
they were supposed to team up to fend off Persia. Athens sort of stepped up and did that pretty well. Sparta had their own shit going on. So I guess this speech he's honoring the dead from that war, right?
And let's keep in mind that Sparta did win.
Okay, Sparta did.
Sparta.
Because they're badass.
Well, I mean, they're a militaristic society. Yes. They better win, right?
Of course.
This is what they do.
They take boys from the home at 7 and go train them to be military. And
we're dealing with people that are valuing the arts, that are valuing philosophy.
Yes,
right?
That's the Athenians.
Yeah, yeah. So, I'm not surprised that they won, right? So,
yes.
But anyways, we're coming from that speech, 431 BC. But I just want to highlight, a few of these quotes, and feel free to tackle any of the quotes from the text.
I'm fired up on these. Yeah, please. But
so just to begin, he kind of defines what a government is within Athens, and he's describing democracy, right? So he says, our form of democracy, does not imitate the laws of neighboring states. So this is this is the first line in this excerpt, right? So he's immediately taking a dig at Sparta and the way they run their society.
That is aimed at Sparta. But quick question for you. How many of the other city-states on the Peloponnesian Peninsula at this time are democratic? Are they mostly democratic, or are everyone's different? Like there's some monarchies?
So at this time in 431, we're pretty much dealing with Athens as the one and only pure democracy. Okay. And in this speech, he's going to go into, how all these neighboring states were a model to others, because that's his next sentence. Here we go.
Right.
Right. On the contrary, we are rather a model to others.
Yes.
Right. And then our form of government is called a democracy because its administration is the law.
Love that.
Right. So, again, he's just defining democracy here, but basically we've already defined democracy, right? Mm-hmm. Lottery versus election.
Rule of the many.
Rule of the many. They're welcoming people into their city, even though they're not, citizens, right? But it's, free borders, whereas in Sparta, if you're rolling up to Sparta, you better be coming to fight, right?
Yeah, you're gonna meet some jacked dudes. You're gonna meet 300 dudes who are ready to
You're gonna
post
see
up.
the dude just kicking. You know,
Yeah.
I'm talking about 300. The whole.
This is Sparta, 100%. And that's basically every dude who's a bouncer at a college party is that guy. And he's like, you're gonna cruise here and fuck up our ratio, dude?
Oh no.
You want to mess up the ratio?
That's for rule
Get
one.
this is my buddy Declan's house. Get out.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel you. I hear you.
Yeah, we got to do a historical
Dude.
accuracy on 300.
I think we should. It's so
Need
good.
to.
Just, I mean, the historical accuracy of fucking, what's his name's abs, dude.
Oh my God.
Gerard Butler's
Well,
abs,
yeah, there's
dude.
some
and his glutes.
anatomical inaccuracies of some of the sprayed-on abs of the other actors.
Very true.
That's 7-minute abs right there. Was it?
Very
Is that
true.
one movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, 7-minute abs, bro. Yeah, dude, Harlan Williams.
6-minute
Yeah,
abs.
so good, so good.
Yeah. So let's go back to the text, right?
Okay, yes.
So we're gonna skip past his definition of democracy because we kind of have that, right?
Yes.
But I want to get into some of these ideas.
Okay.
Right. Some of these ideas that arise. And I think you brought up this quote earlier while we were talking about the book, but the quote is, highlighted on our doc right here. Our love for beauty does not make us extravagant, and our love for things of the mind does not make us soft. We regard wealth as something to be properly used and not something to be boasted about.
I love that.
Right. So within this democracy, you spawn these ideas of, having a love for beauty, recognizing it, loving it, acknowledging it, right,
Yes.
and taking it in.
Dude, 100%. It was, I think he says, beauty educates the soul. That's, maybe Plato said that. But, he's probably referencing these guys. Everyone knows of these
it's
famous
like
dudes.
it's the same type of vibe that's existing within these type of ideas.
Yes.
Right.
And also, I love their idea towards wealth, where it's like, it's not just because it's democracy ruled by the many. We talked about this too. Having a strong middle class and investing in that. And it doesn't mean you can't have, this is more Aristotle, I guess, because you shared that.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can still have wealthy and you're going to always have poor. But if the middle class is the buffer and keeps the society healthy. So it's not like anti-capitalist. He's just saying,
No, it's
use your wealth maybe for benefits or public goods, or invest in art and share that and create that, which I love. It's like sort of like creating some stoke, which fires me up.
couldn't have described it better myself.
Thank you.
Definitely. Yeah, so just that idea, right, of the beauty that comes from democracy is something that really stands out from this speech. If anybody were to go back and read it, I definitely recommend it. It's kind of he has kind of an attitude in this speech, right?
Yeah, he
He's
does.
Kind of,
It's definitely pointed at Sparta being like, bro.
and just imagine
mic drop.
he's coming back, bringing back all the war dead, right? And he has to get up, well, not on the mic, but he has to get up in front of all these people, and everybody's down and out. They're seeing all their people come back dead, and he's coming with this type of energy, which is like,
yes, and it's huge. He's saying these guys didn't die for nothing. Sparta is pretty kick-ass or whatever, but you know what they are? They're probably a bunch of maybe Philistines. And we're fucking, he has this great quote. He says, our natural bravery springs from our way of life, not from the compulsion of laws. We are lovers of the beautiful, yet simple in our tastes, and we cultivate the arts without loss of manliness.
fire.
That's amazing, dude.
Just let that simmer for a second.
Just let that simmer, and next time you're in a tuxedo at a cocktail party and you're single and you catch the eye of like a, elegant art curator, and you look at her and you go, let's freaking heist something from here and then go bone in a glider. Let that sink in.
It's fire. But yeah, so a lot of great ideas from this speech that are arising, and we would have, obviously we're in my classroom, we go in depth, right?
Yes.
But just a little bit about the Peloponnesian War, since we haven't really touched on it, but he talks about this, right? So he says the Spartans, he's talking about Sparta, obviously, right? They never invade Attica using only their own troops, but they bring along their allies. But when we attack a nearby city, we usually win by ourselves, even though we fight on enemy soil against men who defend their own homes.
Love that. And he says it's always only part of our army too. And
Yeah.
he goes, they have advertising over there where if they defeat one of our battalions, they say it's the entire Athenian army when it never is. And then when we go and win, it's never our whole army. It's part of our army that goes and wins because we are effective. And we're efficient in that regard. We don't need to send these masses, and we don't send someone else like the Spartans do to do our job.
Yeah.
So that's pretty badass.
Pretty badass, and they're still they're like maintaining some type of like dignity of their soul, right? Like that idea of just, he's saying like, we lost the war, but they didn't really win. We still have our spirit.
Correct.
Right? And this is where democracy really rises from, right? So now I'm gonna ask you,
Yes.
we already know
I love
too
this
much
question.
freedom, obviously in a classroom, they're like, I guess freedom's a good thing, right?
Right.
Freedom's a great thing.
Yeah,
right? It's a
exactly.
beautiful idea, but too much freedom can definitely threaten democracy. It brings chaos, lack of law and order, people abuse power, right? The list goes on and on.
Yeah, you get dudes like, what's the dude that's running around, spreading his butt in public spaces? What's that guy's name?
Diogenes.
Diogenes, yeah. You get dudes like Diogenes. Then you might get violent
I was going to say
Diogenes.
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos. You got Bezos, dude.
Hey, he's looking jacked.
He is looking yoked these days.
TRT Bezos.
Dude, he really is, dude. The T1000 Bezos, dude.
P90X. Oh,
Yeah,
P90X,
dude.
bro.
Dude, that's hilarious. He's using his own workout equipment from Amazon, just sending him that stuff. Dude, he doesn't get drones. He just fucking launches your orders from New Mexico, dude. Just quarterback style, 3-step dropping and launching shit, dude.
He's all just over there with the supermodels. Yeah, back in '83,
Yeah.
through the pigskin quarter mile.
But to answer your question, right now you just went through part of your lecture, and you go, freedom is good, but I would say that you can't have too much freedom. You can't have people running around willy-nilly. You can't inhibit people's, obviously we think of our human rights. You can't limit someone's pursuit of happiness, but you can limit it if it is really taken away from others. Like there's some sick pups out there who, just like stealing goats, and I like goats, and I like to, sacrifice them to whatever. Or I like to just, I like to decorate well, it's like, dude, also these people need to eat goats. So
Yeah, it's
you
a
can have your
lifestyle.
own farm and raise your own goats and do what you want with them, which is still not chill, but you can't go take someone else's goats.
Yeah, that's
they
where
need
a
them.
line is crossed.
So we need to have some sort of like civility here. So I would say
Definitely.
you got to have rules.
And I always like to think of, because I'm up near San Francisco, but San Francisco during the gold rush, there was a legal vacuum, right?
Mhm.
Absolute chaos.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
it's insanity. People
Absolute
are claim
chaos.
jumping,
Yeah, right? And,
hurting the natives. Yeah.
terrible stuff, right?
Yeah.
So just this lack of freedom, right, is it causes a lot of problems for a democracy. And now, how with this idea established, like how can a democracy attempt to try to avoid tyranny, right? Because that's what comes from freedom is tyranny.
Correct.
So
So that's interesting. Tyranny, which will be the absolute, I guess, is like it can end freedom because it's all about controlling people and
that example that you brought up, Hitler coming into power from a democracy,
Right.
The Weimar Republic, and then it turns to tyranny, right? Tyrannical leader, dictatorship, right?
So there's a Goldilocks condition that has to be met.
Absolutely.
It's
And
tough to keep.
this is what, and some ideas that we're kind of, put into our society today would be like term limits.
Right.
That would be something, elected the right leaders, but that never goes right.
100%. And you get pro-politicians. Didn't like ancient Athens or maybe somebody said, did Socrates like this idea of democracy? Didn't some people have beef with it?
Yeah.
He's like, it was stupid.
It was like an archaic idea, right?
Right.
Because it's a lottery system.
Yeah, he's like, that's dumb. Like, you need people who know what they're doing.
Yeah, right. So like, and this is kind of what he's talking, or it's Andamantis and Socrates, and again, forgive my pronunciation, it's recorded by Plato, and this is from the Republic, Book 8, Section 1. For those of you at home, it's on tyranny.
Let's go.
Once again, dude, gotta give a massive shout out to Dadgrass, bro. Dadgrass is legal organic hemp that relaxes your body and mellows your dome, dude. They offer a variety of products from their token smokable pre-roll joints. That's what I'm all about on the golf course with the boys, dude, or on my freaking balcony after a dank dinner on a summer night with my dank fiance, dude. I'm loving those pre-rolls, dude. But they also got hemp flower and a variety of CBD tinctures, dude, which are drops. So if you're into those, dude, Dadgrass has what you're looking for, dude, because Dadgrass has what we're all looking for, at least what I'm looking for, because I'll tell you what I'm not looking for, dude, is the too gnarly of weed these days that just gets you in your own dome, dude. If I smoke regular weed with my friends, I'll look at them and be like, you guys like me, right? Like, we're all good. They're like, yeah, we've known you for 15 years, Strider. But, dude, if I'm enjoying that Dadgrass, dude, I'm sharing it on the golf course with the boys, dude, I got no questions. The only question is, dude, how can we keep this good time going, dude, and keep these summer days rolling, dude? And Dadgrass is the way, dude. And because here's the best freaking part, dude. All Dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 18 and over, and it ships right to your door anywhere in the U.S., dude. So go to dadgrass.com/dank to check out their products. Like I mentioned, dude, they got the tinctures, dude. They got the hemp flower, dude. And I'm all about the smokable pre-roll joints, dude. But, whatever's your cup of tea could be your cup of tea, dude. You know what I'm saying, dude? Freaking legit. And speaking of cup of teas, dude, Dadgrass is it ain't that whole bottle of wine, dude, that's going to ruin your day and maybe the next day. It's that little glass that just puts you in that mellow, relaxed mood. And it's just great for a nice summer night, dude. So I'm all about it, dude. So Whether you're looking for a new buzz or a chill way to enjoy the old favorite, dude, Dadgrass will leave you in a euphoric, legit mood, dude. So right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/dank. Go to dadgrass.com/dank for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/dank.
And also, I'll do a quick overview of just the Republic in general, but book 1 through 5, it's an attempt to define justice and like defining this ideal community, like this utopian society.
Right.
And then the education of people living in this community. So like, what are people going to learn within this utopian society, which is super interesting, right? Super dense, but super interesting. 6 to 7, it just describes the nature of philosophers. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just the nature, like the being of being a philosopher.
Right.
Super interesting. And then
asking these questions.
Yeah, asking these questions.
These
how are you living your
foundational-
life?
Yeah.
How do you apply your ideals to your day-to-day life?
Mhm.
Type of deal, right? And then we're operating in book 8, section 1 and 2.
Okay.
And he's talking about tyranny as it arises within a democracy, and how you could combat that. So
Okay, I like that. What are some solutions here? Good.
and again, like these are like profound thinkers. These are the classics. Everybody refers back to them. So this is why I love kind of
Right.
just what did they have to think,
yes.
right? So I took a few quotes from the passage, but we got the text right here too if you wanted to pull that up. But he's talking about freedom. So freedom, answers Socrates.
Mm-hmm.
For surely in a city under democracy you would hear that freedom is the finest thing it has, and that for this reason it is the only regime worth living in, for anyone by nature is free. Right?
Mhm.
And what's like the slogan of America? Right? Freedom.
Let freedom ring. Yeah, bro, 100%. So,
Like I see old Navy T-shirts that says freedom with an American flag on it.
Yep,
Right? Like
yes.
freedom is that ideal, and he's saying this back
I order
in,
freedom fries. I'm that guy. I still go to In-N-Out and I'm like, can I get a double with some fucking freedom fries?
It's a fire call.
Yeah, dude. And they go, what? I go, animal style freedom fries. Can I get Cajun freedom fries from Five Guys?
That's good.
But
That's
no,
good
but I
stuff.
feel you. That is, and I mean, look, as we've seen, and I don't want to get too preachy, but like, freedoms and liberties. Look at this pandemic we just went through. People will talk about a mask. It's a muzzle, bro. Treading on me.
Yeah.
So I mean,
100%.
it's
right. So
it's-
that's an inherent feeling, and and again, this is Socrates talking about this way back in the day, saying that freedom. Everybody can say freedom's the greatest thing you could have in a society. But as we kind of established, freedom is a dangerous thing if you have too much of it.
double-edged sword, like power, Peter Parker.
Absolutely.
Great responsibility.
Yes, right. And then he continues, right? He continues to say, as I was going to say just now, how does this insatiable desire for this need for freedom and neglect of everything else change this regime of democracy to a regime of tyranny? It's the pursuit of freedom that turns a democracy into tyranny, right? Or, that's a very nuanced idea, right?
It
You have to
is.
expand upon that a lot, but
And that neglect of everything else. So you can't be neglecting other factors just by saying, because everyone agrees about, like, I don't think you're going to find any American citizen being like, dude, you shouldn't have choice. It's like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? That's
Yeah,
like freedom.
everybody-
That's, we want,
Yeah.
and who wouldn't agree with that? But also, there are consequences with those choices, right? Like, you have the choice if you want to go out and, TP your neighbor's house, and then maybe one of your friends goes a little overboard and decides to egg it. Well, you just stepped up, by egging it, you just stepped up into a little bit of vandalism. So by doing that, and maybe it increased the stoke, and you're like, oh man, we got them good. But then you got to deal with those consequences. So what's
somebody's
your
parents are
freedom?
getting called.
Someone's parents are definitely getting called, and someone's definitely going to get grounded.
Grounded for sure.
So, and that's just a tame case, right?
Yeah. Next thing you know, they're finding the vape.
Next thing you know, they're
It's
firing
over.
up the vape. Next thing you know, they're pulling out your boy's spider, which is a paintball gun, and they're lighting up that mailbox. So,
Yeah. So this is going to be going towards the second section of book 8. But he says, then summing up all these things together, do you notice how tender they make a citizen's soul? So, if anyone proposes anything that smacks to them in any way of slavery, they are irritated and can't stand it. And they end up, as you know, paying no attention to the laws, written or unwritten, in order that they may avoid having any master at all and possessing complete freedom.
straight up pirates, dude.
Yeah, so like, this need for freedom, this want for freedom, and then whenever you have any type of laws that are taking away from that freedom, you have, just this pursuit of freedom, anything that may resemble like a type of slavery or a kind of oppression, right? You end up having people not paying attention to law. The lack of law and order inherently arises, right? And then this complete freedom leads to tyranny.
Exactly.
Right?
You got to have some regulation here. Because, I mean, this is a philosophical question too, which goes way, way back, where you're like, you speak about human nature, and there was someone else that said, was it Socrates, maybe Plato, saying, the perfected man is like the most beautiful thing on earth, but when, like, who said, was Aristotle said man is a political animal?
Yeah, we're
okay, so we're transitioning into that.
We're right there, yeah.
Because that's what we're getting to, because man must be around others. And when stuff is shared and when you're with others, and you hopefully will have love for your citizens then in your fellow man, then it is a great thing. But man who is alone and has these ideal of ultimate freedom, then he is the dangerous and can be the worst thing in the world.
And that's where
you got to have some skin in the game.
And we're going to get to these like professional politicians, right? Where, but just going back to this idea of tyranny, right? So if we know a democracy is a beautiful idea, freedom's a beautiful idea, but it's a dangerous idea in the sense that if you get too much of it, right? If we know that happens, and if we agree with Socrates, like people listening, you don't have to agree with Socrates. Like I don't necessarily know if I agree with him completely, but if you do agree with him, why would anybody want to be a politician? Why would anybody want to be involved in democracy? Why would anybody, if they just know it's going to end up being corrupt? Like if at the center of your being, if you know that it's going to lead to tyranny, or it's going to lead to some type of dictatorship or
oligarchy,
something like that, right?
Yeah.
Why would you become a politician? And I'm sure like people like me, ain't no way I'm running for political office.
Right.
Like
it's me, how many times I've mooned people, I'm done. They got a lot of footage of me. A lot of CCTVs got my butt right on camera, dude. Also, maybe people want to get into it and say, I can change it. Let me use the system for better.
And that's another thing,
ideal.
right? Yeah. So I'm asking why would anybody want to become a politician? And, they want to make things better. They want to make positive change in society, which is, I hope every politician is there's some skin in the game for that reason.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But the unfortunate fact is, like, not everybody's trying to serve their community. Not everybody's trying to create positive social change. And some people try to get in it for fame, fortune, influence, power, right? Like, so it's, again, that's another, like, double-edged sword discussion, right? Like, why would anybody want to be a politician, right?
Can benefit your pocket, help the pockets of others. But, but you can also be positive. So, it's just...
Yeah, right? And then going back to the quote that you brought up, right? Man is a political animal, by Aristotle.
Yes.
That's the answer to that question. Right? Why would anybody want to be a politician? Let's go back to Aristotle. Man is a political animal. Well, what does he really mean by that?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like
it's not how we really define political. It's like
political animal. Like you would, just cold run. If I had no like background knowledge, I would think that man is inevitably going to be involved in politics and treat it with kind of deceit or some type of, not do the right thing.
Yes.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say. So
I wouldn't even say that. I just think everything is political. Like, the reason there are slaves or whatever is political, or the reason that women weren't granted citizenship is political. It's not, there was no reason for it other than to keep some people here and some people there.
Yeah. And even going back to like your idea with voting within hunter-gatherer societies, maybe just human nature is political. It's innate to us.
Aristotle's interesting. He says that because he really starts with, he uses natural arguments. He likes the animal argument, animal kingdom argument. So political animal. He talks about how, which is because this was a great article that you shared. He talks about animals make noises, so they communicate. Man makes noises and communicate, but beyond that, man, and this is his knowledge at the time, and maybe now science and stuff has, whales have their own dialect
they
and
have
stuff.
no idea of germ theory. They're way back. Way back.
Yeah. So but according to Aristotle's thinking, and it still is interesting in where he gets this idea and holds sway. He's like, man then has words to express things, and because we have words, that means we have desire behind those words and want, and in like I forget exactly how he says it, but he's like, but just because of that, because it's not like a noise of saying like, I want basic thing. He's like, there's nuance. And the fact that we have that nuance is like political.
Kind of transcends it to a different structure.
Yeah.
Right.
And it means we're supposed to be civil. It means we're supposed to be we're communicative species, like why would we have language if we were meant to be alone?
Definitely. And
Yeah.
just going to like the original quote, like, right, like it's always translated to man as a political animal, but I think a more accurate translation is man is by nature an animal intended to live in polis. Polis is a Greek root for city.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So literally a political animal, right? And polis, or cities, they exist by nature,
Mhm.
right? Whenever we're talking about society and civilization, right, that we're talking about cities at the end of the day, right? That's where they come from. And then there, he goes into this idea of being self-sufficient. And this is where we could kind of make that translation to professional politician,
Mhm.
right? So a politician who really, really wants to serve their community is going to be involved in that community, right? They're going to have feet on the ground, right? They're going to know what the people want, and it's going to just be kind of a feeling of togetherness,
For sure.
so to say. But that's, that rarely happens.
Yeah, rarely,
Right.
but that's the ideal, I guess.
But that's
yeah.
that's the ideal,
Yeah.
or some people's ideal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
or I really think if you're really serving the community, you need to be involved in it, right?
For sure. Like, I mean, just the idea of Congress, you're a congressman from that district. You should know what's happening in your district and know the
Yeah.
people there as best you can.
Exactly. And I mean, people get busy, is what it is, right?
Of course.
But this is going back to that idea of being self-sufficient. So when you're self-sufficient, you're isolated, right? And if we're just thinking of, people that are living in, Athens, the city of Athens, and then they move out to, maybe like a little farm down the way.
Yeah. Do
Right.
weird stuff with goats.
They don't have to go to the market every day because they may be growing stuff to be self-sufficient, right? So
Mhm.
they become disconnected from what's happening in society,
Yes.
right? And
Now
whenever-
we have that. We have that with keyboard warriors, dude. Just post it up,
or even people that get power, influence in the community, and they're kind of leaving room open for lobbyists,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or going to the highest bidder,
Right.
right? So, and that's no longer, you're being self-sufficient if you're taking all this money from outside sources.
Yes.
Right. So this is kind of what he's describing is, this idea of being self-sufficient when you're isolated to all these individuals, all these different people, depending on, who's existing in the society. They're unable to share the benefits of this political association. Right. But whenever you're involved, whenever you are, in it, you are sharing all of the political benefits as the people you're living alongside.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And again, these are ideas that are super old.
Yeah.
But this idea of man being a political animal and just the rise of civilization, right? We're innately all supposed to be political. We're all together. We're all living in this society. And then you have people being self-sufficient and branching out and no longer having to rely on local markets and people around them.
Yes.
And then whenever they get involved in politics, that's when we got some issues.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then maybe this is where you get states and districts from, and like certain sets of laws, and you can't help but relate it to today, and I don't want to do too much of that, but it's like what that dude's needs are not a person's needs on the countryside who's self-sufficient on a farm are not someone's needs who's living in an apartment in the city.
Yeah. And that's
And
like
then you still have
basic,
these people in a
right?
society. And so how do you form the happy medium in a law set that's like,
Yeah. It's
tough.
hard.
Yeah,
it's real hard.
Yeah.
So man is a political animal.
Amen.
Right. And
Yeah.
this is our last little passage, so we're coming to the bottom of our text.
We're doing perfect on time
Perfect
and on
on
lesson
time?
here. Yeah. This is
Absolutely.
fantastic. I'm just so ready for some guava ice break and to go out and just friggin' text my boys, dude, and be like, dude, send me some pictures from the beach, dude. Did you guys bring the beer bong and hit the friggin' helix in the parking lot before cruising down? Let me know, dude.
Hell yeah. So we're still dealing with Aristotle here, but we're going to the politics.
Okay.
All right. And again, why would anybody want to be involved in politics? Because man is a political animal.
Yes.
Right. We innately want to be political, but the problem comes when people become self-sufficient and their needs are no longer the needs of the people.
Right.
So again, going to Aristotle, he says the best political community is formed by the citizens of the middle class, and those states likely to be well administered, which in the middle class is large, right? So you got to have a big middle class, and they need to be in power,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's if we're dealing with democracy. This is what Aristotle believes, the recipe to prevent tyranny or professional politicians.
Yeah. You don't have, the poorest factions might want a complete revolution and overthrow, and then the wealthy might just say, oh no, we want things kind of how it's going. Let's just keep, paying ourselves out and whatever, and people are comfortable, and we'll get a good police force or whatever, and just keep everything going. But then the middle class might want progress and proper change, and maybe still have a eye towards, it's like a buffer, right, between the other two classes, and they might say, oh, we need progress in these areas. Let's help out the little man maybe a little bit, but we need to realize that we're also not going to prevent people from working hard and getting money that they deserve if they're successful at it.
And I think a theme that's arising within this idea of democracy is like it's a Goldilocks type of government.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can't. And just going into the quote, he says, he continues from talking about the middle class and stronger, if possible, than both other classes, or at any rate than either singly. Right? So the middle class needs to be stronger than, preferably both the upper and lower classes. But it has to be stronger than at least one of them.
Yeah.
Right. And the reason being is because whenever you have the middle class predominantly leading, it prevents either extremes of, democracy. Right. And when we're dealing with extremes and like radical change, well, radical change could be good, but radical change could also be really, really bad. Right. So when we're dealing with extremes, we're dealing with like some very chaotic, kind of conditions of society.
Yeah, this is where you get your French Revolution in two parts. You get the good, successful part, the progress, the freedoms, the liberties, but then you get the bloody revolution, and you get the beheadings and the guillotine.
Definitely.
And so, I guess we focused mainly on the tyrannical aspect of a dictator, but there also is that aspect of like maybe anarchy and overthrow.
Yeah, that's. It swings both ways, right?
Yeah.
So we were definitely talking about leaders coming into power and abusing that power.
Yes.
But what happens when we are dealing with that's usually like the revolution of it, right?
Yeah.
So we have the dictator in power that's, doing, oppressing its people.
Yeah, and then
you get that swing around, you get the lower classes or, the middle to lower classes coming back around.
It's like, fuck this guy.
And then democracy comes in and you're going just round and round and round. And that's kind of like the story of history whenever you're looking at it broadly, right? Like,
yeah. So there's always the haves and have-nots, and how will that balance, and how can the political animal that is man strike a deal for centuries at a time? Yeah. We're on a pretty solid run in America right now, but
yeah, it's people like to say that it's going down, but some people can believe that, but
every generation generally says that, don't they?
Yeah,
it's like old dudes, man. I used to dance. We used to go out and get a burger, and it was this much. And it's like, dude, the generation before you said that too.
Yeah.
Everyone's always said that.
Just keep it rolling. Keep
Even
it moving.
though Five Guys burgers are pretty expensive.
Five Guys.
All burgers are expensive.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Okay, but JD, sorry, we'll make our. How are we doing on time? Are we getting to our closing points, or are we? Do you have a little bit more to go? Just let me know.
I think we're right about the end, but I think the main idea from Aristotle's Politics is
yes.
he's a very strong proponent of the middle class, right? And then the legislators, the people that are deciding these laws, they should be the middle class. So he's all about the middle class,
mm-hmm.
And he's all about this perfect admixture of political elements. So he's predominantly for the middle class, but he needs a mixture, right? He needs some diversity in his kind of rulemaking, because then you get maybe two classes teaming up that normally would never team up. Or,
right.
I don't know how realistic that is, but this is the idea that's existing.
Right.
But yeah, so that would usually lead us to the end of the lesson. I think I showed a nice documentary about the Peloponnesian War after this lesson.
You did? Oh, you do?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah,
the Peloponnesian War is pretty gnarly. Let's see. I'm fired up that we talked about fucking Pericles, Aristotle. I'm looking at my notes if there's anything we didn't cover, but you absolutely drilled it, dude. Yeah, dude, this is just really sick. And just that idea of, I guess you asked me, your opening question was, and how can I answer it better?
Oh yeah, let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So what are the duties of a citizen in a democracy? Like what should those duties be? If we're trying to prevent tyranny, if we are trying to prevent professional politicians or people that are self-sufficient to, inject their needs instead of others, right? How can a citizen truly kind of participate in that, right? And
yeah,
if we're thinking of our society today, right, like we have our electoral college is kind of like a republic, right? So I guess what's the difference between a republic? What's the difference between a democracy now that we've established what it is and what it isn't?
That's a good ass question, dude. I would say, because we are more of a republic than an actual. There isn't.
We have like local elections that are, we directly elect our mayors, stuff like that. But when we're talking about president, like our I guess our leader, so to say.
It's electoral college. I think that needs to get reformed because it seems like people are, with technology and stuff, these outlier citizens still can get information if they want it. I guess, like, I would answer your question by saying that how can we be active citizens? We can inform ourselves as best we can, check multiple sources for that information, you know, fucking follow the laws, of course, you know, also just, you know, work hard and freaking get after it. And, you know, we got the right to make dough and start your business or whatever that is. And, fucking just, you know, and then when you turn 40, just get a motorcycle and let it rip, you know, grip it and rip it, dude.
Sounds solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
motorcycle, grip it and rip it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. And, but it's tough. Yeah. How do you interact as a citizen today? I guess giving yourself information and participating. I guess it would be the stuff outside of voting, because even I'm still locked into this mindset of like, and then vote. But it's like, no, there's so much beyond that.
I would say being a citizen in a republic is much harder than being a citizen in a democracy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, your ideas, you're voting for people to express your ideas, right?
Yeah.
Which, you know, we have our representatives, and some are good, some are bad, but in a democracy, you're actually voicing it. Whereas in our republic, where, you know, people are saying your vote doesn't necessarily mean much, which, you know, it has some substance to it, not necessarily, right?
Mm-hmm.
It has a sway. But yeah, I think my takeaway is it's harder being a citizen in a republic because it's not a direct, I guess, direct link to what's happening in politics.
I think it's true. You know what I think will be the biggest thing, and this is like probably an impossibility, but it's idealist, but if we can actually like each other as people and like our neighbors, if we can get to a point in society where like you want to sit on the middle seat and get to know someone on a plane,
I don't think that's coming.
And capitalism isn't jamming in there, so you got a little bit of room to operate, then it's like people will be happier and will like each other. And if we actually want the best for our neighbor, I mean, everyone, you know, obviously it's human nature. We need to feed ourselves, get the best, protect our families and all that. If we can have an approach of like, we are a family, then that will help change things. But I mean, this gets back, then you always get to the basis of your philosophies. How is man? And like, but I think that's the best way. What can help us get there? I don't know. Some people do it through religion. Other people do it through fucking meditating. Other people do it through vaping. Some people do it through working out. So whatever helps you be the best you and fucking enhance your chill, I think that will help out being citizens in a republic.
Just more stoke. Just spread the stoke.
Bro, that's what I'm trying to talk about, dude. If we can do that, then we're looking good. Which hopefully this episode helps people get in on that. And dude, you've been an absolute beast today, JD.
Dude, I appreciate you having me on, man.
Dude, are you kidding me? We've been talking about this for some time. So I'm so stoked you finally guessed in. Thank you for all of the research you've done. Truly a great contributor to the pod and an absolute stoke lord and complete Danktorian and a true actual educator too. So you are an expert. And yeah, man, this was great.
Shout out Gus.
Big time shout out to Gus, dude.
Is he gonna shotgun the Coca-Cola?
No, you don't have to shotgun a Coca-Cola, dude. No. Dude, that's too much. Dude, honestly, bro, this pure sugar is the most unhealthy thing you probably could shotgun, dude. I don't want you to do that. But I love that you took down that sparkling water and the hazy IPA. So fucking thank you, Gus. The Tank, bro, well-earned nickname, dude. A man who lives up to his nickname. And Aaron, a beast as always on the sticks and contributing. So fired up, dude. This was sick as hell, dude. And yeah, look. So be free, but just like Spider-Man do with great power, freedom is power, and with that power comes responsibility.
Too much freedom could be dangerous. So.
Yeah. So be responsible.
And civil disobedience whenever you're being oppressed, right? Look out.
Yeah, that's true. Look out for those things, and it comes in different forms. Sneaks up. It never all happens on one thing. You know what I mean? It's never like. So you do have to keep an eye out for those things. Definitely. So have your head on a swivel, dude, and friggin' stay stoked. And freaking catch you guys on the next step. JD, appreciate it. You freaking Dank Ass Legend.
Late.
Until next time, dude, let.